for $3,082,376. So where does that increase come from? There's some key drivers in our budget this year. And I'm going to go through some of them. They're not in any order, but one of them is our transportation costs. We had a transportation contract go out this year. West Point Tours won the bid for that, so we have a new contract with them. The BOCES Capital Project, which was passed this past October, that is also included in our budget. And we also added instructional positions in key areas of the district. And a recent addition to our budget was an elementary instructional position. The district and the board feel it's important to continue to support our youngest learners as they continue to grow. And as we get through COVID and onto the next phase, we feel it's important to continue to support them as they come through kindergarten, first, second, and on to intermediate and middle school age. We also increase security. We're looking to increase security. Currently, we have 3 deputy superintendents, 1 in each building. Deputy sheriffs, I'm so sorry, thank you. Deputy sheriffs, 1 in each building. This is my first time, I'm a little nervous. 1 deputy sheriff for each of our buildings. They're there 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after our students. We're looking to add an additional deputy sheriff for JIO. If you have children at JIO, you know that there's something going on from the last bell to late at night. So we have events, extracurricular activities, sporting events, indoor, outdoor. So adding increased security was an important piece for the board and myself. And last but not least, and we can all agree on this, is energy costs are going up. So we had to budget in for energy cost escalations. So the bottom line is the district continues to put forth a fiscally sound budget while trying our best to not overburden our taxpayers. So again, the tax increase we're looking for is 1.44%, or $6.59. So the question always comes up, well, what if it doesn't pass? We would go into contingency. The board would then have to reduce the budget by $163,000, and there's areas that they have to look at, and then there's some additional areas that they also can look at as well. One of them is that administrative budget line, and that is directly where our security is, our deputy sheriffs. So we would have to look to pull back the additional sheriff that we're looking to add in if we were to go to contingency. Looking at the district would require, if we went into contingency, to charge for the facilities for the community members. And that would impact 2 specific areas. Our rec department, and as we all know, the rec is using our fields, our gymnasiums, almost 365 days a year. We would have to charge for that. We're required to if we go into contingency. Additionally, we are partnered with the Connect program, and that is the West Point Association of Graduates. They run an after-school program at the intermediate school. We have 50 third through 6th graders that are enrolled there, and they provide free STEM program, arts, music, baking, cooking. They bring in guest speakers. They have competitions in there, and this is all free of charge to our families, and that is picked up by the Connect program. If we went to contingency, that would be additional. They would also have to pay to use our facilities, which at the end of the day, I don't know if they would be able to do that. So those are a couple things. Additionally, we would look to decrease funding for transportation. Now, we know we have to get kids to and from school, but we look at things, field trips possibly, athletics, extracurricular activities as well. The last piece, I'm going to have Ann or Mr. Carvalho jump in, which is about the obligation for the federal reserves that we get.
Yeah, it's really, really important. And I just want to touch, Mike did a great job, but I want to touch on 2 things again. The Connect program, how important that is to our community. Same thing with the rec. You guys were just downstairs, you said, talking about the rec program and the great things that it brings. I would hate to see us have to start charging the community for use of that. Also, the biggest part of a contingency budget, and Richie, I look for you for help with this, is because it could have, there's a good chance it could affect our obligation to continue to meet our maintenance of effort on our I payment. Okay? $166,000 is what we would have to take out of our budget. Okay, right off the top. In order to do that, part of going on a contingency means you have to go back to the prior year's tax increase levy, which was 0% for us. That's where we got the 166,000. If we go forward with another 0% increase, it'll be extremely difficult for the district to meet their maintenance of effort in order for us to continue to secure our $1.2 million I payment, which is a very important part of our impact aid. And what the maintenance of effort means is how much it costs we cannot have a reduction in per pupil cost to educate our students.
You're passing the test so far, but keep going.
Thank you. So by lowering, taking out that 166,000, we would have a very, very difficult time reaching that maintenance of effort. So now we're talking about an additional, putting it out there, potential of having to reduce the budget by another $1.2 million, which I don't need to tell anybody who's familiar with our budget, it's detrimental. That's detrimental to our schools. So I was always in favor of the last 2 years going out with the 0% tax levy to our community. I think I even said last year, we can't keep on doing this. If we're forced to do it again this year, it's definitely gonna put us in a pretty bad place. Not just for our kids with other things, but also how important it is for the maintenance of that part of our I payment. So it's a little complicated, but it's very important. Did I miss anything?
I think so, you guys covered it.
Good, okay, thank you.
These meetings are televised, and people in NAPHIS probably watch some of these meetings.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of effort over a lot of years by Schumer and other people to give us what used to be called a special fix. The I payment kind of falls into that, and you would have to be a knowledgeable reader to discover it reading it, but it's there. And that would, is that like 10% of our budget impact aid, 12%? It used to be 12% of our total budget.
About 10 to 12 cents, correct.
That would be significant, and it would be horrific to lose it.
Does anybody on the board have any questions?
Just, you mentioned security, and believe me, I'm all for keeping our kids safe and so forth. And you wanted to add an extra one, just so you can fill me in and the people, for what's the added security person for, and was 3 not enough, and how long have we operated with 3 folks?
Great question. How long have we operated with it? I'm going to turn to the people who started this, Dr. Sheehan, about 5 years? 2019. So 2019. So as I stated earlier, they come in 30 minutes before the school day and stay 30 minutes after. So let's take the high school, for example. The high school starts at roughly 7:30. Don't quote me on that. I know it doesn't. If you're 7:30, you're late in the morning. However, so they're there from 7 a.m. And school day ends at 2:30. So let's say they're until 3. At 3 o'clock, all our after-school activities are in full force. Whether it's sporting events, clubs, drama, music, chorus, band, and having hundreds of students in and around the facilities on top of parents. We're having other communities coming in to compete in competitions, having that extra layer of security, which is something we don't currently have by means of a deputy sheriff, would give us a little some more security that we have already during the school day.
Thank you.
Up until that time, we used to provide an SRO officer, 1. They were looking for 2. We couldn't meet that need. They far exceed that need now, so there's no way we could, so they went to the sheriff's department.
Ty, you okay?
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about the transition from the SRO that we used to have at one time and then to the current structure that we're using. I think the bottom line is, for me, security is important, make it happen.
For the students, and we have a lot of people coming in from outside of our community into events in our school, and it always concerns me. And we have had parents that brought it up to us, so it is something that we focused on. It's important.
Are there any questions from the audience? Anyone?
Yeah. No, not a problem. It's important for our safety plan, Mrs. O'Dell is reminding everybody.
I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank
if any of the community watching or here has questions, feel free to reach out to any of our board members or also our district office at any time, Chris Carvalho.
We have a board member too now, Aaron.
Excuse me?
We have a board member, Aaron.
Yes,
Falk.
you do.
Yeah,
So you
yes,
can ask
see?
Aaron.
Yeah,
Yes, you can.
okay.
I also have some leave behinds for the community. Where could I place these, sir? Anywhere?
You have some what?
Some leave behinds, just additional information, some talking
Yeah,
points
put
that we
'em
went
right
over.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
One of the things I will say, though, since you asked me, Supervisor, thank you for passing the mic. You know, I've been interacting with the superintendent and some of the principals in another capacity, which is DE&I, right? And they're doing a fabulous job. Keep up the great work. I had a wonderful women's program that one of your principals was recognized at. And then, of course, we had the African American History program at the high school over there. So I just want to shout out to all your staff and all your administrators and the board. It's just a collective effort of goodness there. Thank you guys for what you do.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
supporting the one at the high school so much too. We got huge compliments on it, so thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that.
Well, you can stay for our meeting, or you can just get on
Run
out
for
of
the
here.
door.
Run for the door.
We get to
Thank
enjoy
you so
our own
much.
board meetings, sir.
Senior
I
prayer.
appreciate the invitation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you stay for my meeting, I'll go to yours one night.
We'll have to talk offline about that.
Okay, this is a public comment time on any of the agenda items. Is there anyone out there in the public that has something to say or would like to talk? Yes, please come up to the microphone.
Hi, we're here with the Town of Highland Falls United Youth. I have some papers to hand out, if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
How you doing? We got two, right?
Thank you.
First off, these are also other members of the United Health Group, United Youth Group. We just wanted to say, like, first off, thank you guys so much for for the insurance that was granted us last board meeting. We have come here today to ask for some financial assistance on our annual Community Fund Day. We are a group of young adults trying to make a difference and provide a safe, inclusive environment. We'd also like to empower all young adults in personal development and leadership skills. Family Fun Day is an event that we are going to foster for better relationships in the community while also having fun. We're having educational opportunities as well, included with Family Fun Day. And the Town of Highland Falls Community Coalition's Family Wellness will now be joining us. They will be supplying speakers on the subject of substance abuse, mental health, and media safety. Orange County District Attorney Hoover will also be in attendance. Plus, we have so much family fun already planned: bounce houses, dunk tanks, pie eating contests, and so much more. Community talent shows and hopefully live music, better yet, a battle of the bands this year. We plan also having food vendors, open the opportunity of our community to sponsor a table. As you know, the economy is tough right now, and prices for the events last year doubled. To help offset prices for our community, we plan on grilling hot dogs and serving drinks and snacks so that our entire community can come out, play, eat, and have enjoyable times. Please think this over and contact Miss Sally on your guys' decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me ask you a question. You say you're looking for financial assistance. What ballpark number did you have in mind?
So right now, we don't really have a set number.
So we're gonna put it in your hands, whatever that you can do.
I mean, are we talking $5 or $500 or $5,000?
Well, it would greatly help. Anything $500 to $1,000 would definitely help.
Okay.
There's a lot of different things that we're trying to do for Family Fun Day, and hopefully it's gonna be one amazing day. But it all depends on how much we raise. The kids have already started fundraising, they've done two already. They've made almost approximately $400 already. However, and we have time, we started early, but the more we're able to get, the more we're able to do for our community. This is now going to be open to all of Orange County because of Hoover's coming in with the coalition. They're doing the speakers are going to be talking about substance abuse and media safety and
Family wellness?
And-
No, mental health.
and mental health. So it's gonna be opened up to all of the other schools within Orange County too. So it'll be a broad awakening, it'll be a wonderful thing, because as you know, COVID has done a lot to our children. And it's going to help them, and it's gonna help our families be able to get support as to where they may not have as even now,
Hey, what date is this?
June 3rd.
June 3rd? And this will be held probably, what, Road Park or
If they can speak.
Beaconsfield? Yeah, oh, that's right, now it's coming back to me. Town Board, you got so many questions?
Yeah, I just would, so now that it's opened up to an Orange County thing, and that's great to know that our youth here have influenced the entire county. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
But have you got any commitments from outside of the town in terms of financial help?
Outside of right now,
Yeah, if you say this is the county thing, is if the county's,
so we are looking into it. So we do have something going into District Attorney Hoover office also. There are representatives within West Point also that have said that they may be able to help us, but I have not gotten a final word yet. So I don't know I won't know anything until they reach back out. So at this point, we're just at the starting phase to see as to what we could, where we could go to get some help, plus with the fundraising that the kids are doing.
so I see a couple things. One recommendation would be like if you guys come up with your list of needs, and so for example, you want to get X amount of hot dogs, that has a cost to it. Write it down, and then come in and say, we need this. But
So if we were to try and get the bands also, and it all depends on what they're able to do. So the thought is to try and get bands to come in, some live music. We don't have anything, we have some that come, that will do something in Memorial Park or with the farm stand. However, it'd be so lovely for us to be able to have more days of live music for our town.
I don't disagree. I actually agree with you. You pretty much probably know that some of the things that I do, right, is events. So if you say band, for example, band costs X amount, like Funk Junkies from Newburgh, New York. You can hire those guys for X amount of time for X amount of money.
So one of the things that we're also trying to do is a talent show. So if we get X amount of people come in to say, you know what, we want to play. So then I don't have to get bands. I don't have to pay for bands. You understand what I'm saying? So that would be even more lovely. It's very hard though to get, it's only the beginning. So, we have still a little bit more time. There have been a couple of people that have expressed that they wanted to do this. So it's progress.
Yeah, I got you, and you're doing a fabulous job. Just hear what I'm trying to suggest to you is that if you came in here and said, out of all the things we want to do, it would help if you could give us $1,000, right? For this reason,
We will do that.
because we're talking about taxpayer money over here, right?
Yes, no, we will do that.
Okay.
So do you want us to come back to the next board meeting and come up with some kind of a budget?
Yes.
And then we can discuss it further? That's all okay.
And even more so than that, that's important because June 3rd is coming. But this didn't happen before last October, which is budget time. So this year, budget time, is we have, I think, $2,300 we give in our budget to patriotic observances. I think that's for fireworks or something like that, for the
Yeah, it
4th
is.
of July. And we have Vision, and we have all these groups. We don't give them a lot of money, but they're pretty regular. And like we talked about, I saw Sally on Saturday, we don't own a lot, but we do lease Brooks's Park, and if you wanted to have an event at Brooks's Park to fundraise or something, I think we could offer that kind of like for free as a venue for them to do their thing. Or so I know it's a bit late in the game, you know.
We'll definitely do that. So
Yeah.
yes, we did have that discussion, and I think that would be a lovely thing for something during the summer. You know, for like potentially our next event, because we have not included Fort Montgomery in any of our events. It's all been here in Highland Falls. And I think it's time that we do something down there also. I think it would be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, it'd be a very nice thing to do.
Alright, so what I basically do with my kids is that we have these discussions and then I ask them as to what they think and or whatever other ideas
Yep.
that they may have.
Well, I think it's a great job, Sally. From last year to this year, you saw the growth in maturity, and then they're also learning some business skills. So keep doing what you're doing. All right, good job, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Very good. Not falling upon deaf ears.
I have some extra copies. I don't know if I'm supposed to hand it out to them as well.
I'm sorry, what?
Should I hand these extra copies out to them as well?
Yeah, that's the town clerk over there. Give them to her and she can put them around,
Good
yeah?
day, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Very good, great job.
Anyone else have any public comment?
Have a good day, you guys.
Yes.
Thanks.
Hi, we're here to share information with you about our voting system. So we have some paper to give to you. I did send you an email, but I don't know if you got it.
I got it today.
Oh, you did? Okay. So I have some information I can give you guys.
I have what you sent. You can give it to the rest of the board.
Okay. So, couple things. There's a summary sheet. Here's a resolution that we're gonna ask
Lunch.
for the board members to look at and sign. And here's a summary sheet. Here's a 16-page study in deficit. And you have that?
He just passed it along to me. If
Okay,
you have another
so-
copy, we can look for Joe.
You got the resolution, there's
We
a
got these
summary,
three people.
there's a summary
Would
sheet,
you?
and there's a study in, 16-page study in deficit. Did you want the resolution? No.
I have it, but
Okay.
Excuse me.
now if you would introduce yourself.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right, okay.
Please step up to the
Can I,
mic,
yep,
talking to the mic, please.
can I give, does anybody else?
Did you leave a copy for me?
Yeah, I can.
Thank you.
Oh, that's you, right?
That's
Okay.
me, should be.
So, my name is Jessica Yago. I'm a concerned citizen. We're here to share important information with you about our voting system in New York. Did you know that in New York, there's a New York State Board of Elections voter roll computer database, which contains 21 million registered voters in New York? Did you know that all New Yorkers have an 18-digit state board ID number that we use to vote with? It's like our social security number, but we use this state ID number to vote with. It contains all of our voter information, identification information, name, date of birth, registration date, voter history. You get one for life. If you move out of New York and back, you have the same number. You don't get a new number. We also have a county identification number. You can have different county ID numbers if you move to a different county, Ulster, Rockland, Orange. The county ID numbers are linked to your one state ID number. The county is where any changes are made to your information, not at the state level. New York Citizens Audit is a group of over 1,500 volunteers across New York. They are focused on protecting our voting system in New York, protecting the Democrat, the Republican vote, and the American vote. New York Citizens Audit has a canvas team, a research team, a data team, and a media team, and a FOIL team. A PhD expert, Dr. Art Zark with New York Citizens Audit, FOIL requested and obtained the entire database, voter roll database of 21 million of us registered voters in New York from the New York State Board of Elections. The research team loaded it into search software where they can search it any way they like. Name, date of birth, registration date. The research team has found over 1 million violations of election law and disturbing information within this voter roll database. All of this information is on the website, auditny.com. For example, Mr. B from the Bronx has 20 different state board ID numbers. This is a violation of election law. Each one would be considered a felony. Some of these clone ID voters voted several times in an election. The canvas team went to Mr. B's address. It's an office over Western Union shop front in the Bronx. This person did not exist, and we need our system protected. We need all the board members and the supervisor to represent the people and sign this resolution we're giving you to do an end-to-end audit of the voter roll database from the 2022 general election. This database cannot be used in the next 2024 general election. It needs to be audited, checked, and investigated. Every New York citizen has the right to require New York State Board of Elections database be checked, monitored, or audited. We need the village of Highland Falls, town of Highland Falls, to take leadership and sign the resolution. Will you sign and represent us and protect our vote? We have every right as New York citizens and residents of Orange County to have this voter roll database checked and monitored. So we gave you the papers. We want you to look at it, think about it, check the information, and look at it, check it, and see what you think. And we have examples with the summary sheet of a lot of the information that was found in the database. Where's the summary sheet? Have you got it? So some of the findings, you see on the summary sheet are 1.9 million registrations in the state voter rolls are missing from the county rolls. This is in the database. So if they're in the state database, how come they're missing in the county? They're not even in the county database. So these are just questions that we need monitored and checked. 338,356 more votes were cast than voters who voted in 2020.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll have the board do their homework, and we'll bring this back up at our next meeting, which is 2 weeks from now.
Do you have any other questions about anything?
So
Yeah,
this
I have
is-
one.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
Don't fight,
Age
guys.
before beauty.
So that was a good one. The name of your organization is what?
The organization
Yeah.
is Audit NY,
So
New York
everybody,
Citizens Audit.
so everybody that's here is with New York City Citizens Audit?
Yeah, we came to, yep.
Okay. All right, that's my only question.
And you want to audit the 2022 general election, the past.
Because that voter roll database cannot be used in the next 2024 general.
Are you going municipality by municipality, or just the town, the village here?
We're
Or
every town in Orange County.
in Orange County?
Everybody's going to every town in Orange County and requesting this to be looked and checked and sign a resolution so that it moves up to the county level and then they have to look at it. We're a home rule state, the people are speaking in Orange County, and we want it looked at, right? We want it monitored, checked. You know, the database, 21 million of us in a database, and there's things going on that are violating the law, that are the election law, that there's votes cast without voters. You know, it's right in the New York State voter roll database. And,
And are you guys from here, the town of Highlands?
I'm from Shonkum,
From where?
town of Shonkum.
Shonkum.
This is a statewide effort.
I'm just curious. Ma'am?
Miller Falls.
Highland Falls from Montgomery?
I'm from Montgomery.
From Montgomery? I know you.
Yeah.
I've been involved with this at the county level
Oh, okay,
a
so,
while ago, and I just found out that you guys were gonna be here, so I'm here in support.
Thank you.
Okay, so is that okay with, or not? It has to be okay, but what we're going to do is, we'll do our homework on this. We'll read the information you gave us, and we can dig further, I'm sure, on the computer, online, or...
on the, yes.
Yeah.
The website is auditny.com, www.auditny. On there, you can go look up every county in, county in New York, 63 counties, right? How many? 62? There's 62 counties, so each county has voter discrepancies that this group has found in the database. So Orange County has 488 people voted from 8 small homes in Orange County in the database. 119 people voted from 2 schools in Orange County. 118 people voted from 2 trailer park addresses. 645 people voted from apartment buildings with no apartment numbers. So there's so much that needs to be looked at and checked. This is our national infrastructure that's been, where's the alarm system, where's the cybersecurity, what's really going on in there. No one's blaming anybody, we just need to know what is going on, and it's affecting our votes.
Is
So
this occurring through all parties? Is this a bipartisan
this is
search?
bipartisan, it's Democrat, Republican, all of us, Americans, all of us citizens in Orange County. It's for everyone, it's not one way, one-sided or anything. We just want to change the future, forget about the past, change what's going on. If this is definitely affecting all of us, you know, so.
Your group would be doing,
On these sheets, so if you want to do your own investigating, right, Jennifer?
Yeah.
It's in that part, so you can, all of you can go home, get on your laptops, computers, and look up at the site, and it'll give you all that information. Which should curl your hair.
Jennifer, thank you
Also-
very much.
Also, one thing, there's,
There you have some.
there's purged voters.
Thank you.
Also, in this system, if they're purged, they inactive, they can't vote. They have 31,000 people who voted after the purge date. So there's so much information in there, and if you go to each, they have, this group has been working on this for 2 or 3 years. The data analyst programmer, he's been studying these voter rolls for a year. This is just, fact, it's a big, undertaking that grassroots American people in Orange County are doing. And all over New York, this is everywhere, it's all over New York. So, they have the resolution they can read to you guys, if
No, we have it.
Oh, we got it.
you know, to read it, you have it, so.
Well, we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
So you think
Uh,
next meeting?
If,
Yep.
the next meeting, if you, it's the second Monday of next month. If you are coming, let me know ahead of time so I can put you on the agenda, because technically you're not on the agenda, but I usually, I'm kind of free with letting people speak, and
Thank you. So do you think you guys would, look at it and make a decision by 2 weeks?
yeah.
and your goal would be, how many municipalities do you need to do this before you're going to get permission or whatever you'll be doing the audit? You represent the group who's going to be doing the audit? What's your goal, I guess is what I'm getting at?
Well, it needs to go to this, whomever would be doing the audit, it would be at the state level. So we would move up to the county, have the county look at this, talk about it, and move it up to the
Okay.
state assemblies, the state assemblies would do this full audit
Yeah.
on the database. If this group of American citizens obtain the database of voter rolls, it shouldn't be that difficult for the assembly to obtain this database and go check it, and, check it. No one really has access into this database. No one does, unless you could FOIL it, get it, and then research it, but we all don't have access to it.
All right, thank you very much, folks. Thank you for
Do you have
coming.
another full packet? Could I get one if you have one, another one?
Here's a summary,
I know I wasn't sitting up here. Oh, I got the summary. I was wondering, I wanted the,
the resolution.
if you have an extra one, I'd take it. I'd love to read it through.
I think I have everything I need.
Study.
That's on the website. All this, if you go on the website, everything's on there.
I do a lot of
I know you wanna-
I do a lot of train writing. It's just, but I can go on
Yes,
the,
here, yeah.
Okay.
I do have another one outside.
don't worry about it. If you had it, she just gave me this.
You guys can copy here.
Yeah, I can, okay. Right, okay, thank you.
I give you orange down.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I just don't have every copy.
That's fine.
But that's what the website.
Okay, thank you very much.
Jennifer, did you want to give him this? It has everything in it.
If you want, yeah, you can.
Yeah. It's got all that information in.
The whole folder, Deb?
Oh,
Yeah, well, look through it and see
Oh,
if
she
there's
put it in
anything
here.
that you don't want him to have, but I.
No, I mean, I guess everything's in here. She has it in a
just
bunch.
making it easy on me, that's all. I don't mean to be,
On the train.
do you want your fancy folder back?
I think she.
No, you keep it.
You sure? Okay, thank you very much. I'm grateful for that.
All right, moving on. Minutes of our last meeting.
I read them. I make a motion to accept them.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
I'm so disorganized.
I transferred $106,448 from the consolidated account to the account payable. Some of the larger items are Beacon Recycling, $4,399. KS Bank for a lease payment, $24,584. Perillo Electric for repairs at the Town Hall, Highway, and Police Department, $4,079. Phase 2 diesel for truck repair, $8,514. Rockland County Solid Waste, $16,038. And for TOL buildings, by the way, if anybody on the board hasn't seen that nice little building we put up in one day's time for the dial-a-bus, it's up there, and that cost us $14,900.
I'm good. That was it. Thanks.
Any questions on board liaison reports? We'll start with Councilman Sullivan.
Are you sure about that?
What?
Let me forewarn the public. You may want to watch reruns of the Brady Bunch, because mine is long. So, here we go.
Well, I'm gonna set the timer.
We'll start playing music in 3 minutes.
The Zoning Board of Appeals, they did not meet this month. If they need to meet next month, it'll be on the 17th of May, third Wednesday of the month. I will announce it at our next town board meeting in May. And their meetings are at 7 o'clock here, open to the public. Sewer. Extremely busy month. The March DMR is signed. I think I sent copies out to everybody so that you could see our average daily flow during that 31-day period of time was 106,000 gallons per day, which is 85% capacity. And yes, there was 5 inches of rain. That affects it a little bit. So last June 5th, we took a lightning strike at a pump station behind Jimmy Ripa's. You probably all remember when I reported on that. That was a reportable incident, and we notified New York Alert and submitted a 10-page report. We being, not being pompous, mostly me. And by and large, that was an act of God. So the APA came in August, and we're at the tail end of a report to them. I don't think they came because of that spill. The Village of Highland Falls were recently visited by them. I don't remember them, they've never come before. The DEC does, but not the EPA. That resulted in a series of non-compliance, now violations, that the engineering firm and Justin had to do. One of them was the standard operating procedure, which is a word I'm going to incinerate after the meeting is over with, because I was down at the sewer plant last night till 1 o'clock to get this thing done, because the engineers didn't want to do it for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why. It's done. They have it. And very pleasing along with this today, if you look later in the day, that guy Murray Lantner from the EPA sent a very good email. We're in pretty good shape. We get these SOPs in, and the DEC report from Fung, I think we're in pretty good shape there. So we've gotten through all that. We're going to have to put some type of an alarm system down at the plant ultimately, and a couple other small things. But what I want to lead into also is I don't look in the rearview mirror, so I'm not blaming anybody. But before I came on the board, we had some pump stations rebuilt. They're identical. And if you're a design engineer, you'll take a pump and it'll meet a head curve diagram. How much lift you have, what diameter is the pipe, how many fittings are there, what's the coefficient of friction, all that stuff. And you'll come up with a horsepower that the pump should be. Our previous operator, who quit abruptly back in March 2020, altered those pumps to be 17 horsepower when I think they were 10. One pump station had 7.5, the other one had 10. So they use a large amount of electricity. The setup we have is challenged to not blow the circuit half the time. And in the last 2 weeks, we've had out of 4 pumps, because each pump station has 2. You have to have, lead lag, sometimes you need both. 2 of them have burned up. So the cost of getting them rebuilt is a little bit over $6,000, and you have a wait time of about 3 weeks. You can't just have one pump. So with each of those pump stations right now, here as we speak, are standby pumps right there that are about $1,900 a week. And in the meantime, the prices we got for brand new pumps is $12,000 each for them. So Andy from TAM and I kind of do business the old-fashioned way. You go behind the seat box and smack each other. When we got done, he has agreed not to charge us for these standby pumps that we have, whether here 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. We're going to get 2 new pumps, and what we're going to do next year, we'll do 1 in 24 and 1 in 25. We're going to have the engineering firm come up with the proper head curve, the proper pump. We're going to declare some of these things as surplus and put the right things in there, 1 pump station at a time, so that they don't burn out after 5 years of use. It wasn't just lightning strike. It's not a good fit. That's why they're burning out. So I think that had a fairly good turnout, and I communicated with Bob about that before we did anything. So that was sewer.
Oh, wait, time out.
Oh, yeah?
Time out. You alluded to the fact that both the DEC and EPA are happy with our sewer plant. And I would like to just make it well known to everyone, the board and everyone out there, that the sewer plant is up to snuff because of one person. One person. Not the sewer, whatever his title is, down there, Jimmy. Not because of him, it's not because of the employees down there, and it's certainly not because of me. It's because of Richie Sullivan. And I want to thank you very much for the work you do down there.
I'm flattered, but the EFC fund was before I ever got on the board. So you and the other board members before me had the insight to know that it needed to be replaced. I arrived just in time for the construction, so that was the fun part. But all that was, so it's everybody, community effort. And I got to tell you, I hope I don't sound like I'm complaining. We have part-time operators. Do you know how much money we save with that? And Jimmy doesn't watch TV. He'll never come here or anything. He's not the spit, shine, and polish kind of a guy. He quits like 5 times a month. So I have to try and kind of keep him happy when he gets these phone calls 2 o'clock in the morning and all that stuff. And I think he, by and large, is happy. So the plant's new, but it's a different plant. Used to be sludge drying beds with a greenhouse. Now you have dechlorination, and you have a belt press that operates with polymer. And when you use the polymer, if you use too much and it goes down the drain and gets recycled back into the plant, you'll see foam coming out 10 feet high out of the top of the plant. It's a high-skill job, and we're lucky to have the part-time operators. I don't know how much longer we can keep that going, but for the moment, we're okay, and that's a huge savings for the people down there. Thank you, all of you. In the building department, so Dean is now the liaison to the planning board. Thank you, Dean. I don't usually go to their meetings, but I want to talk a little bit about something that's a long-standing problem in both the village and the town, and that is fill permits. So if you read our soil erosion control law, it will tell you that on a particular site, if you disturb more than 20,000 square feet, if you excavate without importing or exporting earth to the amount of 200 cubic yards, excess of that, or if you import more than 100, that you need to go to the planning board to get issued a fill permit. And most planning board visits, the first time, are informal. They meet once a month. If they had to meet twice, they probably would, but that's not something I think they're going to do, nor should they. So with a fill permit, when you go in, it's different than it was in the old days because we're being abused. People would say, I'm going to get 100 yards, and they get 2,000 yards. So a lot of times we'll make a surveyor come in. They'll make a surveyor come in. I don't mean to speak on their behalf. Shoot a topo what's there, and shoot a topo for what's proposed, come up with a calculation. And the reason I'm saying this is right now, in this town and village, there is not one open legal fill permit yet. And on Deer Park, you have a capital improvement project, which is going to be going on for more than another year, producing well in excess of 1,000 cubic yards when it's done. So when they have a project like that, I'm not saying everybody we put a legal notice looking for fill permits, but there should be somewhere for the fill to go legally before this happens. So what's happening? You have people seeing a truck out Mine Road, it dumps a couple loads, they call the police, they call the DEC. We need to get this under control. I'm not saying it should be built into the contract, but it's something we should be paralleling as with our planning board or whatever, to have people get legitimate fill permits so they can go ahead and do this when these projects happen. So that's a little bit of a recent issue going on there. Zoning maps. So the Village of Highland Falls has 4 of them, if you include the county one. The town has 3 of them. What I took the time to do is take the maps. They're digital now. Thank you very much for having that digitizer down. The building department, I have them, and I have layered them and superimposed them so that you can see what areas don't jive. And I don't have the time for it. That project is going to Phil, Gabby, and on the planning board, you have a lot of intelligent people. Mr. Eddie Dunn is, I think, putting a little bit of time in this because we need to get these right. I've been on the board 5 years. They're all different. You have, for example, the Aloe property down there, which is now Scenic Hudson. If you look at their county deed site, their parcel information, it'll say that's Zone 5A, which has completely different allowable uses than Zone 5. I know it's Scenic Hudson right now, but I happen to think there's other people interested in it, and that's where this question came up. That's just one of many that have inherent errors to them, and I think it's time that we get that right. I think I got the ball rolling on that one. Finally, and this is not meant to be harsh or anything, I try to communicate with the village board pretty often. I just wanted to let them, and I communicated with Melanie earlier today. Philip is going to be out of the office for 2 weeks, starting next week. Fear not. Well-earned time off. We have the consultant. Andrew is going to come over Thursday or Friday, spend an hour or 2 with him. What I would like to set up, Bob, is have 2 days where he has an hour or 2 in the office and does the inspections. Gabby's there. And a week after that, have him be there for 2 days. And Melanie's the liaison to the building department, so I communicated that with her today. And finally, with the building department, there was a complaint came in about the Academy Hotel, which we get a lot of those. We're on it, and there's a certificate of occupancy. It's changed ownership one time since then. And the complaint, I don't want anybody to feel offended, wasn't completely what was found to be there when we went down, which Philip did. There's 6 garbage cans, not 15, and in the Village of Highland Falls, I have to check into this more. I don't think we can make them use a dumpster, but we can make them screen them in, and we're working on that to at least get those screened in. Hopefully they'll cut the grass a little bit more, so we are communicating with them. I don't want people to think we're blowing them off, but you can't exaggerate, because we follow these up very seriously. And if someone exaggerates, it just puts everybody into a little bit of turmoil. With water, a few weeks ago, we had yet another meeting up at the highway garage. Kelly, Leslie, Gary, Bob, Tiffany, and myself were there. We are zeroing in on getting a final, and Kelly has a wonderful spreadsheet, audit on just how many people on Wells 125, how many on radio, how many are on cellular, how many are on functional cellular, so that we know what we need to procure and approach this and fix it once and for all. And in order to do that, I think we're going to have to write up an RFP. Of course, we're talking about 200 of them. I don't think Gary's guys have that much time to dedicate to it. So we're going to write up an RFP and at least see what kind of numbers we get back to just get that done. Because if we do another estimated billing after this one, Kelly has my number on the dartboard in her office, so we have to try and get that done. We did have a couple of weeks of hydrants being flushed. I have not heard any reports of murky water. I don't know if you did or not, but okay. Well, if you look at Ion Water, you can see it was way up there for 3 or 4 days, and that was the reason for it. I'm almost done, guys. Earth Day. I would like to thank Olga of the Citizens Environmental Advisory Committee, which included Tiffany Montalese, Dan Mauser, myself, Olga was there, Elaine McConnell and the Garden Club was there, Ronnie Coffey and the library board and staff, Gary and Tiffany and Emil from the town DPW, the Town of Highlands Youth Group was there, the Girl Scouts for selling Girl Scout cookies, True Value Hardware for giveaways, and the star of the show was probably Dirt Man. Dirt Man was there. And at that event, am I cutting into your thunder if I talk about Erica's award, or do you want to talk about that?
Go ahead.
Okay. At that event, Erica Fronti, who was our intern for the last year, received an award, a certificate from both Supervisor Livesey and County Legislator Tortel, and that was very nice. She earned it, and she did a lot of good work for the town. Fort Montgomery Battle Site. The battle site, along with the Historical Society, commonly meet on the third Wednesday of the month. I'm not a long-term member, so my attendance is not about me. They have some charter members, Stella Bailey, Doris Lent, Pete Rose of Cornwall is originally from Fort Montgomery, Gary Lent, who's deceased, Tom Nix is a former president. They were all charter members, and at last Wednesday's meeting, another charter member who's also a reenactor retired after 20 years, and that was Michael Graber. And I just want to acknowledge his 50 years of being a true statesman. Every board should have a Michael Graber on it. So he retired from that. I think Stella is going to be the acting president. They're a wonderful organization. On May the 3rd, the next sit and chat, Mr. Ned Coppold will be doing a presentation at the American Legion Hall at 6 o'clock. Ned is not running for school board again. I was on that board with him for 10 years. He's been on it for 30 years. So just like to acknowledge his time for that. And finally, I think I have this right. Ronnie Coffey has a thing about the Girl Scouts. They're selling cookies at the library on the 29th, May 6th, and the 13th. And I think she has a display down at the library about Girl Scouting and the history of them. And if I recall, right down at your restaurant, that stoplight outside your restaurant had something to do with the Girl Scout study. I don't remember the details.
Yeah, that was a project
So-
to earn their badges or
So,
whatever.
has everybody had enough? I'm done.
I thought you were going to be a little extra long.
15 minutes, 20 seconds, not
There you
bad.
go.
Was it a record?
No,
That's a personal best.
but I'll make a note.
Well, I will be the polar opposite and just give you a couple notes. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home. So, is Mary Jane still here? Okay, yeah. I wrote a note about the trip tomorrow for the senior residents headed to Albany 7:45 a.m. From Highland Falls to go visit Senator Skoufis and get a tour of the state capitol. That's still happening, right? And I don't know if the bus is full or not.
I have not heard that it's not happening.
Okay, so they had like 8 seats on the 10th of April. So by this time, folks, it could be standby only. So if you're interested, probably go out and stand by the bus at Sacred Heart Church. And if somebody doesn't show up, then you might be able to get on. But looks to be a great trip lined up. Caveat here is lunch is on your own when you get up there. Departure for back to Highland Falls leaves Albany 2:30 p.m. I spent some time with the police department today, and once again, I walk away with the sense that we got a incredible law enforcement agency in our town. And certainly, the chief is working through challenges in terms of scheduling and these types of things, but I think we got the right person for the job. So keep up the good work, Chief. I appreciate what you're doing. I had a call to show you, so just to give you an example of some of the things they do that's not scheduled, besides the pile-ups, besides the domestics, besides all the other things they're doing, then the councilman comes down and asks them to do a wellness check on somebody that I was concerned about, because I got a call from a person's father and said he hadn't heard from this person in a while. And then they expeditiously got on top of it and then gave me a report back, and I think all is good in that person's world, just kind of being distant. So, but thank you, Chief, for that and the rest of the team. You guys saw the Town of Highlands United Youth here. I've been working with those young people for about a year now. This particular event where they came in today and asking for support started last year, so this will be their second annual. In a way, unfortunately, I didn't get to make that personally, but I heard about it. Somebody told me that they were there, they have young children, and they said it was a great day. It was phenomenal, right? And so I was just proud. So then I went and followed up with the kids and gave out a few coins. But I was just proud that amongst us, we had these youth that care enough about others that they would go out and raise money and do that kind of stuff. So certainly they got my vote, whatever we could do to help, and we'll talk about that when we talk about it, but I just want to make it publicly known that I support them 100%. The school here was also a group that doing great things. One of the things that I attend, and it'll be happening again this Wednesday, is their diversity, equity, and inclusion meetings. They do these via Zoom still. So you get on there, you got people from all over, and they're talking about how they're gonna make the school or school district not just for kids to be excel, no matter what background they come from, but also how they reach out and try to find the right teachers who also can bring a culturally diverse environment to the organization. So I just commend them for doing that. It's not easy. It's not easy work at all. And so, but I enjoy attending. They also let me talk. You know, every now and then I don't really get long-winded like you, but I say a couple of things in there. But I just really want to give a shout out to I think we got a world-class school district. So that's it for me, folks. I didn't got much tonight, and so I'll just pass it over to my battle buddy on the left over there.
Thanks.
Councilman?
That's my intro. Battle buddy, I'll take it. First of all, sorry for our late start on the camera work tonight. Our cameraman got called out somewhere, but we were rolling eventually. On the reports, obviously, we spent a lot of time thanking a lot of people that do a lot of hard work, and the electronics recycling day the other Saturday was another great success, and Tiffany Montalizzi deserves, again, a big round of applause for her hard work on planning the event, of course, with the full support of Gary Boyce, our highway superintendent, and to Emile Blanc, too. You know, we've heard these names repeated a few times, who showed up and gave a lot of muscle to the project. One little side note, there was a little bit of a logistics issue with the company that was hired to handle the recycling program. And for that little bit of a problem, they waived their fee, so it was a little extra financial windfall for us on top of the everything else we get back from that. So, again, thanks to the gang that got it done, and again to the village for the use of Lot 2. Richie, you went through everything with Earth Day. The best thing I can add is I got a selfie with
Dirt Man?
Dirt Man.
Dirt Man.
Gotta love the globe helmet. That was the winner for me. One thing I saw in the mailbox, did anybody? There's a wiffle ball tournament coming up, and it's a fundraiser for the 8th grade. Did you mention it? Oh, you didn't, right? Okay, sorry. It's a fundraiser for the 8th grade graduation class of 2023. There's a deadline to register on May 20th, and the event's May 27th, which is a Saturday. I'm sure we can get a posting on up on our community calendar or on Channel 23. But you can reach out to Anthony Farina at 500-5295 or Sarah Bioni, and she's at 499-5669. Again, the 8th grade wiffle ball tournament fundraiser. It actually sounds like fun. I'd probably throw an arm out throwing a wiffle ball at this point in my life. The last thing, this morning I had the pleasure of getting up at 4 a.m. to, I did my first ride along with our sanitation department, and I want to give a big shout and thanks to Tim McCabe, who I joined on his route this morning. MJ was upset that she didn't see me coming, unless she would have thrown out like bricks or something for me to lift up into the truck as she had for me. The point of going along on the ride was obviously this, please have, I know you hear a lot of praise up here, but it's not empty words. These guys work hard in sanitation and highway. One of the big faults we have in our recycling program is that not enough community people have recycling cans, which are needed to be picked up. The recycling truck is called the One-Arm Bandit. It's designed to be driven by one person. It's got that arm that lifts the correct recycling bin up. And if we have more of those in the community, we'll have more efficiency, blah, 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 costs that we can go on and on about what the efficiency gain would be. And we're gonna have to talk about how we can get recycling cans into everybody's home. That's something that definitely will work. I'd like to work on with the board and get ideas. There's just, again, even with, no matter how you're putting out recycling, it's important to know just what you're recycling. If you have a question, it's on our website. Even today, I pulled styrofoam out of a few people's recycling bins. Styrofoam is not recyclable. And again, if we bring too many unrecyclable things, we can get in trouble. We don't want to get kicked out of that program. But just please just ask to do your part, putting your things to the curb properly so that the One-Armed Bandit or the driver can get to it. And just know what you're recycling and thank you. Things, again, how hard our guys work, and things like the recycling program that we had up at Lot 2 the other Saturday. It does a lot, to save money, make money, and keep our landfill costs to a minimum. So let me end by saying, again, thanks for Tim McCabe for letting me drive along today. I really learned a lot from him. And I also, this morning, hung out with Burston and Emil, who were on the route. We had a little coffee and just, again, talked. And again, thanks, guys, and I look forward to learning more from them. In the CCA topic, as I always promise to announce, as of close of business today, the O&R energy rate per kilowatt was 0.039 cents. So basically almost 4 cents a kilowatt hour. So again, if you're looking to buy electricity just based on price, hard to beat O&R. They really came in low. And again, the standard rates are 11 and 12 cents an hour for the CCA. If you're interested in just being energy-minded or renewable energy, that's that. And again, I just want to give a personal shout-out to the Pozo family, who obviously they were having at their family the wake today for Mike, and it was an incredible amount of people up there today. And again, so many people, we lose that have been part of or really touch our community. And again, if you drove by Hogan's funeral home today, you really got a sense of it, of a great loss. So again, my love and to the Pozo family. And that's all.
Councilman Yeager?
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be briefer than all tonight. Just a quick couple of updates on recreation. We had a really nice opening turnout for T-ball and coach pitch baseball this past Saturday. So that was a great event, as usual. See all those young kids out there getting ready for ball playing. Little League and Ponytail opening day is this Saturday, the 29th, and I believe it's parade prior to that event. I think it was at 10 a.m. I got to double check the time on that one, but there will be a parade prior to opening day, which will be a lot of fun up in Roe Park. It's been combined for the last several years, since I believe 2019 or 18. And it's been a great event just having everybody in the same place at the same time. 9 a.m. is the parade kickoff. And that's going to start right Memorial Park. The rec department's also looking to hold some adult volleyball tournaments and youth volleyball clinics at Roe Park this summer, so be on the lookout for that. And again, we'd like to thank Army's West Point men's lacrosse team, which hosted a youth clinic through the Bear Mountain Lacrosse at Highland Falls Intermediate School this past Sunday as well. So that's all I got on that, but I just wanted to, as Richie was alluding to the rainfall that we had, you're saying 5 inches, which my house, I do have a weather station there, which we had 4.21 inches of rain total so far for this month. Most of that came this past weekend, which was 2.95, almost 3 inches of rain. I just want to throw it out there. Prior to that, we only had 1.36 inches, and we were pretty dry the whole week before that. And what I always was frustrated last year is we didn't prepare ourselves for what happened last summer in such a severe drought to conserve our water. We just kept going. Everything is fine, instead of just pay attention to your water levels, pay attention to the weather, because droughts can quickly creep up on us, and then before you know it, we're out of water, and we're not going to know where it comes from. And I think there's a lot to work on yet to get our reservoirs and so forth up to par. So, we're thankful for the rains this weekend, but prior to that, it gets dry quick. So just, conserve water, washing cars, turn the water off when you brush your teeth, stuff like that. So little things, it makes a big difference. And the biggest ones are leaks, faulty faucets and so forth. Other than that, that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Chief, do you have anything for us?
Nothing today.
Kelly, do you have something? No. Okay. Then I'll ask our esteemed attorney to explain to us the certiorari.
Certainly. I gave the board a memo because this one was a little unusual, where appraisals are frequently part of the tax certiorari process, but this one required it. It's the USAA building. We couldn't, negotiate and come to terms without appraisals, but it was an interesting case where the town and school who share in this cost, their appraised values were higher than the petitioner who was bringing the lawsuit. We were able to successfully, in that regard, negotiate and settle upon their appraised values. If we had been forced to go to trial or disclose everything, certainly would have been a bigger reduction. Your assessor was involved and agreed that it was overassessed. The school board is taking up a resolution as well, so before you have a resolution to reduce the 2021 and 2022 assessments and provide a refund of tax liabilities to the petitioner. The approximate refund for the town portion, town only, right? County will have a refund, the school will have a refund, but your obligation will be approximately $5,610. And you have a resolution authorizing that settlement. Or questions, if you have them.
Okay, we have this resolution to authorize settlement of the proceeding under Article 7 of the real property tax law for the USAA building, section block and lot, for the tax years of 2021 and 2022. Do I have a motion to move the resolution?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Salter,
Aye.
Councilmember King,
Aye.
Councilmember DeWitt, Councilmember
Aye.
Jada.
Aye.
Oh, Supervisor Lipsy, I'm
I was waiting. Aye.
sorry. Joe makes me laugh every time he says that,
No, I laughed because
because I can't see him.
either one of you.
We had a meeting with Aaron prior to this meeting, and we are setting and we'll call it, your favorite word, an SOP for fees and discounts and et cetera for his programs. And we've kind of taken it off of his back where he doesn't use his discretion on certain fees. It's this amount and that's it. And so if Mrs. Jones wants to know why Mrs. Smith is getting a better fee than her, it's because it's in the regulation that we're going to put forth. So, Dean, is there anything you want to say about that? And I'm just going to ask for a simple motion to adopt the.
I think we said enough. It keeps everything on a level playing field. We should say that it's all accounted for and makes it easier for everybody, and there's no finger pointing. So I think it'll be pretty good.
Okay, so I'll just ask for a motion to approve the.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried, thank you. Kelly, it's basically the same as what we've been looking at. Okay. We're still working on Long Pond fees for this year. And we're working on a 90-page contract for Long Pond, something like that?
That's correct.
Quite a large contract that they sent up from Texas, which there are some things in there that would make it very difficult for this board to approve or for me to sign. One of the things is they don't want anyone employed under the age of 18. Well, that means we have no lifeguards. Simple as that. They want 15% of our gross revenue. And what we're going to argue with them about is the age. And we'd be glad to give them all of the profit, if there's any profit to be had. We put approximately $70,000, correct me, $70,000 into the Long Pond. Take away what we took in last year, 20,000. Take away what we used for Roe Park. It still leaves us well over $50,000 that we have to take in revenue. We don't get that much in revenue out there. So we're willing to give West Point all our profit, not gross revenue, profit.
Great.
Yeah, it seems like they sent their standard concessionaire contract without considering the prior history with the town of Highlands and the operations of Long Pond in the past.
So is there a deadline date on that contract that they want?
Well,
to
the problem
sunset?
is it's supposed to open in approximately a month.
So you said the contract is coming from Texas, San
Yeah,
Antonio?
we have the contract, I mean, and Justin has reviewed the contract.
I brought the first 35 pages, not including the additional sort of 50 pages of fine print that the
I mean, it's
government
very
likes to
detailed.
use.
If we sell any kind of food, we have to put down the calories and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's just a very, very detailed contract, which, you know, we can look at it and smile at it, but I have no idea who they think is going to enforce the contract or what they're going to do with that there.
I'm just curious, how much different is that from in the past? You know, because you had it 50 years before we changed it a couple of years ago? I mean, what was
Well, if you want to go to the past, maybe 5 years back, it was ours. We did whatever we wanted, charged whatever we wanted, and we paid West Point nothing. We just had a lease on the property. Then they all of a sudden decided they wanted, if I remember right, $50,000 for a lease and another $25,000 for a engineer's survey. So we said, we're not paying that. So West Point decided that they could run it themselves and would still allow us to use it. Well, they found out that they weren't doing too good of a job running it themselves. So last year, they gave us, I think, $7,000 as kind of their contribution to the program. And naturally, that didn't do very much for us. And plus, they took over a lot of the groundskeeping. They built some nice benches and stuff like that. They did a nice job out there, but nonetheless, it wasn't being used that much. So, so what we want to give it to us. We'll take care of it. We'll run it, and just as we have in the past. So I hope we get to that point where we can get another lease on a property and just do what we've done in the past.
Yeah, I mean, these contract terms are, they're quite detailed, but I don't know how much they'd follow up on some of the particulars. But right, in the past, you've simply been able to operate in essence, and this is now requiring you not only to have those costs of operation, but also pay an additional fee. And as the supervisor said, or maybe Kelly was nodding her head, right? I mean, practically speaking, the large majority of your lifeguards are high school age students who.
He has one lifeguard that's 18 or over. That's it.
See, the reason I asked that question, because just my assumption, so I was there for the ribbon cutting when you and the garrison commander and the mayor made the new deal. So then you go 2, 3 garrison commanders since that time. All these guys probably did is call San Antonio and said, we want to give it to them, and somebody in Texas drew up a contract.
Yeah.
There's no real person who knows what's happening and knows the history of the thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, we're working on Long Pond, and it
Send you a
should get
copy,
open.
but-
on
We're
time.
not going
not
to
worth
vote
reading.
to adopt the fees tonight, are we?
Oh, no.
I got 16 pages of it.
The fees.
That's not worth
No,
reading
I was just-
either.
The email that went out, what Aaron sent an email out projecting
This stuff.
what they would quote. We're not there yet, right?
No.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so, prior to this meeting, we had an interview with a prospective police officer. I was very impressed by this young man. His name is Nicholas Torino. The town board, the full town board was there interviewing. Ty gave him his usual hard questions. And I would like to ask for a motion to hire Nicholas Torino at the maximum probation and the salary schedule.
I'll make the motion. Let me hire.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried, thank you. So Chief, he's all yours, put him to work.
You start tomorrow?
Is there any public comment? Kurt, do you have anything? Okay, then I'd like to ask for an executive session to discuss changes to the employee handbook.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Take care.
Aye.
We will not be coming back after the executive session.